Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome. I am Pastor Guy, and this is Pastor's Corner. For those of you who are new to the corner, I'm Guy Watley, and welcome to my corner of the internet. It's a place where we get together once a week to encourage the believer on how to be in the world and not of the world. If you like what you hear, follow us on Facebook and YouTube as well at Condom Baptist Church. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and give us likes and thumbs up when you view something. You can also find us Sunday mornings live at 10:30 Pacific time. As we broadcast our Sunday morning services and encourage you to tune in. We are in the book of First Peter right now. Just started. We're about 4 or 5 messages into First Peter. Just finished verse 17 of chapter 1. So anyway, welcome. We're glad you're here this morning. So to say this has been a busy or full past 10 days or so, 2 weeks, 2 weeks today, in fact, would be an understatement. Things have been turned upside down within the conservative movement in America, as well as the Christian and the faith movement in America, due to the assassination of Charlie Kirk. And I talked about it last week, and I had a topic the week before, an evil world, and then a couple hours after that posted, he was assassinated. And so last week we followed up with a conversation about Charlie and what happened. And today I kind of wanted to wrap it up a little more, not necessarily put a bow on things, but maybe to tie up a few loose ends, as it were. And a couple of themes is I've watched things play out, and I haven't sat down yet and watched the memorial service. Of course, we were holding church at that time, and so, but I've seen some videos of people who did watch it, and I've talked to other people who were able to watch it. And one of the themes that came out were, well, if you watched it, you heard the gospel presented time and time again, and not just from ministers or lay people, but from the Trump administration. Those that were involved in the administration that knew Charlie, that spoke, brought the gospel message to the table and to the people, and very encouraging, very much so. A big contrast to the last administration, where you wouldn't have heard anything like that. So anyway, some themes that come up in talking about this, about what happened. A big theme is good versus evil. And, so I've been thinking about that a little bit, and thinking about what that means. How do we define those things? And, apart from Scripture, we have no way of defining good as we see it anyway, because the Bible is what gives us that. Now, what I haven't heard it a lot, but what I wanted to I guess point out or caution against is that good is not the opposite of evil. And I guess when we talk about good versus evil, we kind of dress it up that way, whether it's intentional or not. We just sort of do. But good is not the opposite of evil any more than God is the opposite of Satan. Not even in the same universe would that statement be true. Um, God is the great I am, the creator. Satan's a creation. It's not the opposite. And so when we think about good and evil, evil is the absence of good, just like darkness is the absence of light. Right? That's why the a spark or the light, if you want to if you want to look in practical aspects, how much light, if it's completely pitch black, it takes very little light to illuminate so that you can see or move around, right? It shows you that they're not the opposites. They aren't. It's a great illustration what one candle can do to a dark, pitch black room. We are to shine our light before men, and we're just individual people. How can we do that? Well, because of the goodness that is within us and the reality that evil is the absence of good. And so how does this play out? Well, it plays out on a practical level as we move forward. It is, if it hasn't been evident to the most casual observer the past couple of weeks, we are in an extremely divided country. Not that it's 50-50, but that the contrasts and the starkness of the positions is becoming clearer by the day. It's great time to be alive because there is no gray area. What we see from the rabid left is the heart of Satan being spewed forth upon our nation as he uses humanity against humanity because he hates all of us. And so when we look at, for instance, the memorial service was going on Sunday. Not every network showed it. I don't even know what networks did or where it was seen. I know Fox and C-SPAN and there were various places that showed it, and of course it was streaming everywhere. But CNN, what did they broadcast opposite the Charlie Kirk Memorial? Well, I'll tell you, they broadcast a vitriolic Democrat congresswoman who spewed lies and hate about Charlie Kirk while his memorial service was going on CNN. Their Sunday morning show, to contrast the memorial, was vitriol against Charlie Kirk on their channel. Unconscionable. Put a rerun up. Do anything if you don't want to show the memorial service. But to put someone up there who's going to get on and spew lies and hate about the man who is being memorialized by his wife and children is unconscionable. But that's what they did. As we think about what Charlie did, and for those of you who don't know everything, the booths he would set up on college campuses, there was always a sign that said, "Prove me wrong." See, Charlie saw the battle against truth and falsehood or lies or deception. So truth was what Charlie would bring to the table. And people would come up with questions, whether it was, and I mean, they would hit him with all kind of questions from tariffs, but a lot of the cultural issues that spark outrage on the left, abortion, right? Palestine, right? And the trans issue, okay? All were addressed by Charlie with truth. He didn't attack, he didn't point fingers, he didn't accuse people of being evil, but he would position himself on the side of truth, where the argument cannot be denied. On the trans issue, boys, men cannot become women. It doesn't matter how much you mutilate your body or how many drugs you pump into it. You will die the exact same gender and sex as you were born, period. That's a truth. That's a scientific truth. And they know it. If somebody was born a man and they want me to call him Sue, whatever. But that doesn't mean I have to lie to myself and those around and refer to them as a they or a she. I don't. That would be living the lie. That would be furthering the lie. And so our battle on a basic level is really about truth, the absolute truth of Scripture and of God. It's framed as good versus evil, and on many levels it is. Because we're bringing light into the darkness. We're bringing the good or the light, as Scripture, tells us what in Isaiah, right? Isaiah 5, woe to those who call evil good and good evil, who put darkness for light and light for darkness. We recognize that God is what? He's good, he's loving, he's light, right? He's light. We see that in Scripture. That's a descriptive for him in the book of John, is it not? Right at the start of John's gospel, the light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. Darkness cannot overcome light. Light is what it is. It is light. In him was life, and the life was the light of men. And so when we shine forth truth or light in dark or deceived places, it can't be hidden, it can't be diminished, it can't be put out. And ultimately that's the battle we play. So when we say, well, how does that impact a believer? How does that help us live in this world? Know what truth is and be bold about the truth. Don't acquiesce. Don't cower. Somebody invites you to a gay marriage. You politely decline, but you decline on the basis that, well, there is no such thing as a gay marriage. A true marriage is between a man and a woman, according to Scripture. And we stand on that truth. We don't adopt their language. They have circumvented the English language, just like they stole or attempted to steal the rainbow, God's bow. I will put whose bow in the sky? My bow, God said. I will put it in the sky, and it will be a remembrance, and it still is when we see a rainbow, that he promised he won't destroy the entire world by flood again and wipe out every breathing thing on the face of the earth, except for that was in the ark. You see, our battle is as much about truth and deception or falsehood as it is about good versus evil. Because what we're trying to do with the good is bringing light into the darkness. And the only way we can bring light into the darkness is doing what Charlie did, standing on the truth. Standing on the promises of Christ the King. We know the hymns. What does that mean? We're standing on truth. What Charlie has reminded us is we have to be bold about it. We can't pander. We're past that. They're killing us now for speaking truth. I mean, it's always gone on, right? Christians have been martyred. The more they get away with it, the more they will be emboldened. And by not even acknowledging who did it, which is a lie, right? Jimmy Kimmel was canceled. He's coming back on the air, but not on all the stations until he apologizes. Why? Because he lied. We know exactly the motive of the individual that did it. Trans ideology. Just say it. But they can't. They want us to buy into the lie. So next time you hear good versus evil, think darkness and light, or truth and deception. There is no truth found in him. He is the father of lies. That's all the Bible right there, applying it to our situation. Be bold, speaking the truth in love. They won't see it that way, but that's the way we bring it. I'm Pastor Guy. This has been Pastor's Corner. You have a wonderful day in the Lord, and should the Lord tarry, I will see you next week. Take care and be blessed.